same with the Aziz Ansari show. The first season was awesome.
Yeah,
The second one I didn't like at all. Did you like the second season?
I didn't like.
Which one? Master of None?
Master of None.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even watch the second season. Didn't even hit my radar.
Yeah.
That one, even Big Mouth. First
Mouth.
first
You like
season.
Big Mouth?
I've seen some episodes.
You seen the first episode?
Yeah.
Freaking hilarious.
I put that on with Farah beside me.
Yeah.
She's like, what the?
Yeah, same with Fiza. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, what are we watching? Seriously? I was like,
Yeah.
chill. I just want to check it out. It's that guy from that show, The League.
Yeah.
You guys watch The League?
Yeah. I watched
So
I watched
funny.
the first couple of seasons of that.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
watched like
funny.
3 or 4 seasons, and then Fiza's like, "Let's stop because they're so mean to Andre." I was like, "Yeah, but that's it's funny."
Yeah.
Farah was like, is that a penis? I was like,
Yeah, the hormone monster is
Yeah.
the greatest.
yeah,
The hormone monster has got to be the greatest
He's in
ever.
your face. He is the worst penis.
Yeah. When he falls down and then he has like for some reason he has a bunch of other miniature penises in his pockets.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Yeah, where they just like, oh no, my penises, and they're just like running away, and they're like caterpillars just running away. They just kill me, man.
I didn't think that kind of stuff would be funny to me after not being a teenager, but that stuff's still friggin' hilarious.
No,
somehow.
Yeah.
man, we're still
So it's
children.
it's a TV.
You have your Ninja Turtle shirt on. I have a basketball jersey on. Yasin forgot to wear underwear.
Again?
I like to look down.
The amount of times
what indication are you getting?
there's been a few times where I've almost walked out in my boxers because I'm just like sometimes late at night I'll just take off my jeans downstairs when I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And then I can't find them upstairs. I was like, I'll go downstairs and wear them.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right.
So I go downstairs, I grab my stuff, I'm like, all right, Hamza, daddy's going, mwah. I'm about to go out the door, and Faiza's like, hey,
I like how.
you forgetting something?
Wait,
I was
had
like,
she
nope.
knows?
I kissed Hamza, and she's like, okay. I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, it's getting a little bit cold here.
Is your zipper open?
No, like I don't
No,
have
he
my
has no
pants on.
pants, bro.
I just totally forgot to put
He's
them
just
on.
wearing
Wow,
boxers,
you got
son.
a lot on your mind.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I'm
I
just
feel
like,
adrift
Hamza,
at
like,
all times.
I thought he put on pants but didn't put on underwear, and she could tell from the outside somehow.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what?
you know what?
Is she a superhero?
I wear long johns, so sometimes I feel like I'm wearing something, so
Right.
I'm
Right,
about to walk
that
out.
makes
Like
sense.
this morning,
Yeah.
almost did that. I
I'm
had
glad
long
that you
johns
didn't
on.
show up just with long johns.
No, I'd go to Walmart or something, or no, I'd go home. I would go to a store to pick up pants while I
In
don't
long
have any
johns?
pants.
I don't want to make a hard segue, but this is a segue. So, interestingly enough, and this probably doesn't happen everywhere else, but in Houston, when black guys start fighting, they start taking off some clothes.
Right, of course.
Like, they will, if they have like a shirt and jeans on,
100%.
they're gonna,
Shirt's got to go.
shirts gotta go.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in a wife beater or nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in their boxers,
Yes.
they'll take their pants off.
I don't know
snap,
why
I
they
didn't-
take the pants off, but most of them are sagging.
Yes,
So as a
that's,
result,
I think what it is.
you know, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So they got to take. It's weird that like how tactically.
This guy
Like
thought this-
unprepared are you that like the clothes that you wear will immediately hinder
gotta
you in
go,
a fight,
yeah.
right? So,
I'm impressed. He's
Like
like,
your legs are tied. Like
Right.
you're already like.
they would starch those pants too. Like, yeah, the ones. Oh yeah, in
They
Houston, you
they starch
starch the
sagging pants?
You starch everything.
why do you?
It's so
starch
hard.
is making stiff, right? It makes
in
it
case
stiff.
somebody shoots you, it ricochets off
All
you.
right.
But
Stay
I thought
ready.
it'd be you get super emotional, but you're not that emotional that you're like, wait a minute, this isn't the proper attire.
Yeah,
And how scary is it to get like fighting a half naked man?
that's a problem for me.
Yeah, I don't want to fight a naked dude.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey man, you win.
Just on prep alone.
Yeah, like what if you're on top of me trying to hit me or trying to like?
Yeah, I'm
I don't
like,
want
hey
your naked
man,
body
your
on me.
hole. I can look inside your hole.
Yeah, I've got 2 things to deal with: a guy beating me up and a naked man on top of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Take one fear at a time. You know? Can I have 2 night? Like, can I have these separately?
Man, it's surprising that you just walk around in boxers. For me, at least. Yeah, I never.
Oh, because
wore,
you
I
live
don't wear
with your
shorts.
parents, bro.
Yeah, when you
shorts,
don't
yeah.
live with your parents.
Yeah, no, I think I still
You
would
make
be
sure the
really
curtains are
uncomfortable.
down.
Do you ever fart around them?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
No, but
Yeah.
like,
it's kind of a joke in my family. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you farted again? I'm like,
I don't think I could ever be that like free.
I think if you live alone, you might be surprised.
Huh.
What if your girl farts? Like, you guys get married first, where she farts and it's cute. It's like, pew, and she's like, oh. and you're like this. You're like,
you know what it is though? I think having like siblings, like brothers.
Yeah.
Like Usher is always farting in
yeah,
front of
brothers
Dinah
are the.
for no reason.
Yeah.
Like
For
he's
no reason.
bothering
He
her
doesn't even
because
have to fart.
Yeah.
He makes
she's
himself.
like, get your feet away from me. I don't like your feet. You know
Right.
what he does in our family group? Takes the close-ups of his foot, sends them, and she's like freaking out.
Yeah, brothers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess I've
it's
never
pretty
really had that.
normal. Yeah.
But I bet
in
you
that
when you get your
sense.
own like domain, you might.
Bro,
Pants off all the
it's
time.
Pants off all
being
the time.
naked. Like when Faiza used to go to
He
her
got all the
mom's
way
place.
naked. He got all the way naked over
Yo,
here.
when Faiza goes to her parents' make sure the drapes are down, like in my apartment. Remember?
Right.
Then I'm just like, yo, I can walk around my boxers.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Throw them anywhere.
Right.
Just walk
Yeah.
around. Sometimes I'm just like,
And then you're like, I can walk around without my boxers.
Yo, that's all I'm gonna remember when I come over to watch. Gonna watch basketball and be like, yo, how is it?
where do you normally sit?
Your butt cheeks
There,
have
but
been
when I'm
everywhere.
naked over there, and there, and there, and there,
I
and
sit on the
there.
floor. I go to their house. I always sit on the floor every time.
On the counter.
Yeah.
I just have a vision of you just barrel rolling on the
Yeah.
carpet, just like
See it happen. Naked.
Don't sit anywhere over there.
What? There's gonna be me with a lawn chair sitting outside.
Oh my god. I bet you he brings his own chair next time.
Don't sit in that corner.
No.
Which part? The whole, all of it.
All the corner.
You know what? Just go wait outside.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think.
I get used to that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think ladies are naked at the house though.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I think some ladies like to be naked
Man.
at the house. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I mean, like if men like to do it, well, so apparently
Yeah.
freeing apparently for you.
yeah, no, it is super freeing. Like, man,
I get
is
cold,
freeing.
man.
Nah, you turn up that heater, man.
does- yeah.
You turn that heater up till you're sweating, naked.
but like,
You're
like I
glistening.
have 2 blankets because the room that I sleep in is,
Oh my god,
is really cold.
Can't
I
use
got
any of
the
your
2
blankets either.
Yeah, I should have
Yeah,
took that. Hey, you want to stay over?
Yeah,
One
seems
of
like,
mine.
yeah, seems like this blanket been starched. Why is it so hard?
I don't sleep butt naked. I've got my boxers and stuff.
Right,
on,
thank
as
you.
opposed- But,
Thank you.
So it's
thinnest shield.
but yeah, man, nice and warm.
All right, so we had Hamid on for a different reason. I won't be able to segue into it. All right.
At this point, I'm like, this is your responsibility, man. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. So Yasin and I, at the end of last podcast, we were just talking about the amount of times like I've been beat up and seen fights in Houston, and then I was like, you know what, this is fun, and I was like, I know somebody who's been like international fights because like Hamid
around the
lived in a madrasa in Pakistan, and then he came here in high school. He hung out with a stupid crowd. So
And for people who don't know, madrasas are like Islamic schools, and Islamic schools in third world countries.
how dare you?
Hey, Mauritius as well.
Dare you?
I don't care about your island. We know
where the adults apparently just take any opportunity to beat kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is a problem because I don't even, when my cousins tell me about how they got disciplined in madrasa, it doesn't sound like it's like you did this and here's the proportionate
Here's
a proportionate punishment with regards to you didn't memorize that last 5 verses.
Oh, bro.
of it. It's not like that. It's like this open, like it's open season to beat the crap out of a kid.
They treat it like a sport.
yeah.
The teachers in my madrasa, they used to actually show up with like, they used to come with these sticks, but they'd bring different colored tapes and they'd sit there in class in front of all of us and they'd be taping them like white,
Oh my god.
green. I remember white, green, and red. One of the
Wait,
teachers.
what are they taping? Sorry, I
the,
just.
the sticks. Like they'd bring like a
beating
nice, like
sticks.
hard, their beating stick.
They're beating
and they'd
stick.
bring like actual like tape, like different colored tapes. And
It's like hockey
green,
tape so they
red-
can
yeah,
grip it.
like actual hockey tape. And they'd beat the crap out of you with that. They'd use pipes. I remember having pipe marks on my
man.
like little
Pipes?
pipes. Yeah, pipes, like the plastic ones. I remember coming home with pipe marks.
Jeez. Pipe marks.
Like why?
Getting hit by
Yeah,
I gotta-
just tell me to go memorize the stuff again. I'll do it.
Right. Yeah. I'm not even that bad.
I want to fight you.
I was at a madrasa and I couldn't get this one part right, and this guy, and I wasn't living there like you. I was there like visiting. You know, this is
Oh yeah. So for people who don't know, Hamid was living.
he was living there
At the
basically.
madrasa.
I was living in like in my my aunt and uncle's place, but I was going to madrasa, which is from like 6 to like 10 p.m. at night. So pretty much all day. I just
Every
didn't sleep
day.
there.
Just about.
You just
Yeah.
didn't sleep there.
I had a guy hit me with a stick in so quickly, so many times, and this was in Texas, which makes it hurt more because you're like, not in this, like it's a first world country. And then, no exaggeration, no lie, he says, "Don't mess with Texas." And
What does that have to do with anything?
I was so confused and hurt everywhere. It was very like patriotic of him, of like he was very Texan about it.
Right. About you not reading Quran properly.
I don't know. he was enjoying hitting me.
Of course
Yeah.
he was.
Because
Make a
that's like his
mistake.
like ad lib at the end of a beating. It felt like that was his-
DJ Clue.
Yeah, exactly. But he did enjoy it. You could tell like every now and then this guy likes enjoy hitting kids. He's like,
think
I
they all
hope you
do.
mess up.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Wouldn't you be more afraid of like other like bigger kids fighting you?
That wasn't that big of a concern because you were always worried about these different teachers fighting you or beating the crap out of you,
Jeez,
and
man.
you not being able to fight back or
Yeah, you can't
you
fight
can't even
back.
reason with them. You're like, yo, I didn't do anything. It was this guy. Why are you hitting me? They're
Right.
like, no, you're you two.
Oh, wow.
You
You
can't
two.
reason with them.
Okay, what's the worst? You too. What's the worst you've had?
I'm just sitting there peacefully, and the teacher, like me and my friends, were just sitting there. This is playtime, and in playtime, we're not allowed to get up and run around. We have to sit down and play.
All right.
So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it's playtime's over. This guy comes with a pipe, starts it. Let's go. I was just sitting there. I get whipped in the back for no reason, and so do my friends. We're just sitting there. All they had to do is, all right, guys, let's pack up. Let's go back to class. That's
Right,
all he
yeah.
had to say. He didn't have to beat the crap out of any of us.
Do you know these people alive? Would you like to exact some level of revenge?
Absolutely. I wasn't big enough to do it now, but
Yeah.
somebody touched my son or somebody, like
no. I want to go find. I want to go find the ones that did that
Yeah,
to you.
he's like, I want to find that man, and he's probably sitting somewhere peacefully right now.
Yeah.
I gotta find a pipe.
It's like, you want to fight me now? Let's do it now. I'm a man now. I was a boy before.
Just beat the shit out of them.
I would love to, but now I'm an adult and I don't want to beat people up for no reason.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not. No reason.
Not, you can't do something from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you can't
remember
even- you can't even
I
remind
got
them.
You.
the Quran wrong and
Remember
you hit
me?
me. She's like, no.
Still.
Well, you will in a minute.
That's crazy.
No, man. When my cousins tell me stories, I'm like, I want to, because the mosque is just 5 minutes away. It's just a walk. Some of them are still alive. I want to go and talk to them. And
What would you say to them?
I have no idea, dude. But I definitely would want to say something.
Yeah.
The problem is that if I were to go back
Yeah.
and start getting angry at someone,
Right.
I'd have to do it in Creole. I can't do it in English. They can't understand what I'm saying.
Either way,
The problem is that a significant amount of of ability to make someone feel bad about what they've done.
They have to understand.
They need to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
If I say it in Creole, I'm just gonna be stuttering the entire way, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, this kid doesn't even like."
I give him a stutter. I hit him so hard.
That's a good point.
problem.
Because if I were to go back and try to tell someone, yo, you messed with me 20 years ago. I'm not happy about it. We're gonna fight or something.
Yeah.
But I can't actually translate that to Urdu. Like I can speak Urdu.
Yeah.
But to really yell at someone, really step into them, I have to think about my words.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be stuttering. This guy's gonna be like, "What is this guy talking about?"
and to
I'm just
really
gonna hit him.
to really convey the pain that you caused.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. It's very
I
difficult.
can't
man.
translate that
Very
into
difficult.
the words that he needs to hear.
No.
And therefore, I'm just gonna look like a jerk.
I think you should write a book.
Maybe I can write a book.
A letter to my madrasa teacher.
There's so many of them. There's so many different teachers there.
Yeah.
They'll read him.
Yeah.
They'll get him.
Just give it to the khutbah. To the guy who does the khutbah.
Have them on the podcast and just jump them.
I talked to one of the guys that used to beat the crap out of everybody in high school on Facebook like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Just because I was like, I saw him.
This mother.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. I'm like, oh, he's still alive. And because in my head, a lot of these people actually died.
Yeah.
And because some of them actually did.
Yeah.
So I was like, I figured this guy would die.
Yeah,
like, this
he
guy was
made it.
such a shit. And I saw him, and he was, like, leaning on a Cadillac. And I messaged him. And his name's Antoine. And I was like, yo, Antoine.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, how's it going?
Uh-huh.
Like, remember me from high school? And we had somehow added each other a long time ago when we were in college.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, man, rough times. What have you been up to? And I was like, nothing. I was like, you still like, see anybody?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, man, nobody here likes me. And but he
sad.
sounded fine.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
was just like, yeah, nobody likes me.
Interesting.
I live outside of Houston and stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost wanted to ask him, but I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna get out of this.
Yeah.
And I don't think if this guy, if he was gonna realize what he did was a bullshit move,
Yeah.
he's probably already done that 3 times over. There's nothing I'm gonna say to this guy
Over Facebook.
over Facebook.
Yeah. And
and
make
be
them
like,
feel bad about it. Like,
Yeah.
And another thing.
yeah, he used to steal my food.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to basically either your parents are gonna give you some food from home, or everybody has a government number you put in the cafeteria. And what he would do is that he would note people's number and try to get their lunch before them.
Oh.
So like, and I realized he was doing it, but since he's so much bigger, all I could do is get to lunch faster than him.
Right.
It's not like, and the cool thing was once all of our foods were in the corner, and my mom had put like a thermos in there that had come open, and it was like full of like juice.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we just heard a splash, and we looked over, and this guy had opened my lunchbox in the corner and gotten like his whole lap wet. And
Did you get beat up for that?
huh?
Did you get beat up for that?
Why would I get beat up for that?
Dude, these people don't make sense.
I am incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Right? No one's catching me. You have to get the jump. I can't. You aren't gonna see me and then run to me, and I'm gonna be there.
Hey, where'd Said go?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was my gift. But no,
What's this cloud of dust that just moved?
no, all beatings come in private. In like when it's bus, you're on the bus ramp.
Personally tailored in private.
Yo, man,
Yeah.
the bus ramp was the area where everybody got beat up.
Yeah.
We had you might resonate. We had the school bus that was full of the angriest kids, and the school board decided we can't let them go to their houses on their regular buses. So they made like a handicap bus just for kids that were like disabled with anger.
Damn.
Every kid on that bus was a killer. And
It seems like it's a good
Were
thing.
they strapped in with like?
no,
It's like straight bus.
they don't get to when it comes to going to school. Once they get to the school, they have one room. All their teachers come to them. Everybody else, you go to a room. There's a different teacher there. These kids, you stay in this room. This is your bus. These are the only other 8 kids you see. And every now and then they would get in a fight with a like a normal kid, and that would be like friggin' like some sort of Royal Rumble where you're like some new kid who didn't realize that this kid is so unstable, because these guys don't have an off switch. Like once they get on top of you, they start hitting you, and they just don't stop.
Oh damn.
And that used to be friggin'. And they would also like take their clothes off before they fight.
Okay, of course. Duh. I didn't even
Yeah,
question
that's
that.
just the rules. But like, that's when I realized I'm like, there's levels to this. You shouldn't always fight back. Running is a great option.
Yeah.
Great option.
I'm good with running most times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now. There's no point.
Even now. That's
Yeah,
true.
you're right.
100%,
Now,
it's
especially now, you don't know. Like, if it's a bigger guy, I don't want to mess with them. But if a guy's like kind of around my size, I'm always like, I think I could take him. Like, I'm more like inclined to either defend myself or someone like. But if it's a big guy, you gotta run.
Yeah.
I bet you now, if you feel like it is somebody that's of a size that you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
man, it's tempting.
It's
Dude,
yeah.
It is it's the switch happened over 2018 where
Yeah.
it was like must avoid fights all the time to this guy's neck looks a little soft though.
Yeah. I wish he'd say something.
Right.
Right? Like
just pop
kind of. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm just curious. Also, if he's ever wearing a good go back to it. If he's wearing a good jacket, a good like something sturdy that I can hold on to,
Yeah.
just gonna choke him with his own clothes.
You got to say that part as
Oh,
quickly
okay.
as possible. Sounds pretty gay before that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. This guy's neck looks soft. Got a good jacket I can hold on to.
Maybe I could choke him with his clothes on. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you smiling so much?
But nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, that's true. If you start learning how to fight, you kind of like get tempted.
Yeah.
Only if they're about the same size. You're right. If they're bigger, you're still.
No, you're still doing like.
Probably run. I remember I used to watch the Jackie Chan cartoons, and his nephew's
Great
like,
cartoon.
Yeah, he's like, hey, aren't you gonna fight that guy? He's like, because it's smarter to run. And I was just like, but this guy is like a karate master. What?
Right.
You know, if he's saying it,
Yeah.
must be true.
That was
Yeah.
a great cartoon. Funny
so
thing.
great.
Jackie Chan did not voice his character.
No,
The
he
guy
didn't.
who was Jackie Chan's voice was some other Asian guy. I was like, well, Jackie.
I love that.
Did you guys know that there's a Mike Tyson cartoon where he teams up with a
Yeah.
pigeon
Yeah.
and a foreign student, I think, and they solve crimes?
I've heard about it. I've never watched
I've seen
it.
a trailer, and I figured I'm like, yeah, this seems like a cartoon I'm not gonna watch. There's a pigeon and Mike Tyson. That's hilarious.
Okay, now I gotta do
That's
that.
hilarious. How old were you when you moved from Pakistan to here?
So I was 13 when I
13.
moved from Pakistan.
And like when you got to school here, did you expect what you were expecting? You're like, yeah, less hitting, everything's gonna be normal, or
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot normal because, like, in Pakistan, it's like a third world country. Nobody's really controlling anybody. The
Right.
kids are
the Wild West?
Yeah, especially the area that I lived in. Area I lived in was called Liari. It's a really bad area. Not a lot of rules. There's a lot of poverty in that area. So a lot of kids are just on the streets playing, causing fights, and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I came from. So the norm was getting into fights there.
Right.
There was one point where I became so comfortable with just getting into a regular fight that it wasn't scary anymore. It was just who gets the first punch, who lays out the first punch, sort of thing, right? So when I came here, it was totally different. Nobody's fighting, and nobody's fighting. Over time, you just become softer. So I never wanted to get into fights by the time I was in grade 10, grade 11.
Yeah.
But before that, I got into tons of fights for no reason.
Really?
They
Like
just
over
found
here?
me. Yeah, like
over
I'd
here?
be, like I was telling you the other day, I'm just walking home, and I was a little bit thicker. I was a fat guy, so people would be like, "Morte, like fat guy," and I'd just be like,
Wait.
"What'd you call me?"
This was here?
This was in Karachi.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just like, it would be weird if someone in
No,
Mississauga is just yelling mote.
Yeah, I turn around like, "Yo, what'd you call me?" I'm like, "Your mother," and then it'd be on.
I like how you go right for the mother.
Yeah, well, you got to go for the jugular because he sort of
Right. He called
me a
you fat.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like your mom.
You know, and it's
Now
like, no, that's
escalate
not
very
happening.
quickly.
And yeah, it escalates very quickly.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of keep your head down and keep walking. And,
I never
don't,
pictured like Pakistani kids as people who like fighting.
Oh, you have no idea.
they're crazy,
Are
man.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was going to the masjid. This was in Bihar Kolani, which has a lot of Pathans. And this kid tried to steal my slippers that were on my feet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like on my feet. And he's like, Chappal do, like, give me your slippers.
What?
And I was literally like, I don't know what to do. Like, these are my slippers. And then he grabs me by my collar and he goes, Maka doodh piya hai to lad.
Oh man.
Which means if you have drunk your mother's milk, then fight.
Wow.
People used to say that so much. They're like, yeah, man.
I hadn't heard it until that point. I was like, oh my God.
So do I have to fight you?
So
Or, I don't know.
if you want to get out of the fight, you'd be like, no, I was.
No,
like,
man. Bottle fed.
But
Yeah, right? No, I had
Formula.
powder.
formula for life.
Yeah. How did you know? And my cousin comes over and he just like slaps the guy. And he's not even big. He just like pushes him in the face. He's like, get out of here. We're going to the masjid. And my cousin's not even that much bigger than him. He's like 1 year older than me. But he was like, we don't have to talk to him. So let's go. He just took me. I was like, oh, thank you.
It's like, the way I used to, it's almost like it's just like this.
No, it's
Someone
true.
brushes him in the face. Like, get
For
away.
me, I was having the most panic moment of my life, and he just like smudges the guy in the face, and we just go to the masjid, and I was like, oh, I didn't think it was that easy.
Wow.
They know how to, like, the locals there know how to deal with the
Yeah.
kids. Like, my cousin used to do that too. Anybody that kind of messed with me,
Right.
he'd just be like, he'd just go and beat him up or just kind of push him away and be like, we don't have to deal with this guy. Let's go. And I was like, how? I was so scared. I was so
For a
nervous.
moment, my entire life was
Yeah,
this
it's flashing right before my eyes, and you come and you just brush him in the face, and now we get to go to the masjid.
True. It's just a lot of people posturing.
Oh,
Right?
man,
trying
that
to see
is-
what they can get, what they can do,
That is
what they
crazy.
can get out of.
People do get a little bit crazy just because there's not a lot of rules, there's not a lot of supervision and things like that. I actually had a near-death experience in a fight where we were on our way back from the madrasa, so we were in our Suzuki, or school bus, if you will, and one of the kids, he had his hand just like this, and it was kind of obstructing my view, or just hitting me in the face, and I was like, yo, can you please move your hand? I don't know if I pushed it or what, I can't remember. This was like 20 years ago or something. This guy got so mad that he started like straight up punching me in the face. So I started fighting back, but he's way bigger, and it did not work out. He eventually got me to the ground. He started beating me up, and at
The
one
ground of the
point-
bus.
of the bus, while the bus is moving, the Suzuki is moving.
Right.
He grabs the metal part on the top and wedges his foot right in my neck and just steps on it and just holds it there. And I remember just looking at him. And he just kept moving away, and there's
your
this black
vision's
around.
like
My
going
vision's
down, yeah.
slowly going away, and all of a sudden the Suzuki comes to a complete stop.
Yeah.
Luckily, his stop came,
Yeah.
so he got off and he left.
Wow.
While I'm on the floor, all bloody, and like I was full of blood. Like I went home, like I had white clothes on.
Oh my God.
I went home, and they were all red.
What?
And like my aunt and uncle, like, yo, what happened?
Holy.
I was like, I fell down the stairs. I don't know why.
yeah.
I was like, I fell down the stairs, and they're
They'd
like,
be more mad at you for fighting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
As a kid, you're always like scared of all these all these things that don't make sense. Like I always like to go back to the Lion King example where do you remember when Scar told Simba
Yeah.
that this is your fault, your dad died because of you.
Yeah.
And you're yelling, you're like, no, go tell someone what happened. It's
Yeah,
not your
yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
But because his mind is so underdeveloped and
Yeah.
he doesn't understand that to him it's his fault.
Yeah.
So you're afraid, kids are afraid to tell their parents, I got into a fight, or hey, I got hurt.
Yeah.
Like they just don't want to get into trouble. So that's why there's all these little secrets that
Right.
they have. So I didn't tell anyone.
For sure.
And so that was one of the things that I was
And then
always
you
like,
keep riding the bus with this guy.
yeah.
I see him tomorrow.
Eventually, we became really good friends,
That's Pakistan.
Oh my god.
but things like that just happen. And like the
I don't
driver
think I
didn't
could become
stop.
friends with that guy.
The driver didn't stop to come and see what's
Yeah.
happening. He's like, screw this noise. I gotta
This
I gotta
is
schedule.
Suzuki with an open back, right?
Open back, yeah,
Yeah.
but they had the tarp thingy at the top.
we
Oh,
had-
okay, I know those.
We had the tarp
Yeah.
thingy, and kids would stand on the back
yeah,
of the Suzuki.
that was fun, man. That was fun to do.
And one kid, we hit a bump, and his hand came off, and he somehow was able to grab the bottom of the Suzuki,
Yeah.
and he's being dragged. The bus driver doesn't know because there's like 100 kids in this tiny area, and then and all the cars are honking. And he comes to a stop, and this kid has lost both of his shoes, one sock, his bloody knees, and that was all that happened. And the bus driver looks at him and then just slaps him, and then everybody gets back in the car.
Yeah,
it's bad.
don't do it again.
Yeah, you know the funny thing is, parents will hit you for like getting into a fight, and I think it's because they feel like only I should get to hit you.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you getting into fights? Like it's weird.
Actually, like, I always thought about that. I was like, why do parents get so mad if, like, I fall down? They're like, why'd you fall down? I get it. Because I tell Hamza, I'm like, yo, don't go there. You're going to fall. I don't want to get up and have to. He climbs on the thing, he jumps, he falls, and he cries. I'm like, yo, I told you not to do that. I told you. See what happens? So you get frustrated because you told them, and now that they're, crying, you're like, now I got to deal with this too? Like, I told you. So, I didn't get that when I didn't have a kid. Now that I have a kid, I'm noticing all these things. I was like,
Call
man.
me when it's like, hey, Hamza got in a fight today. I beat the shit out of him afterwards.
Gotta show this kid how to box. His
Yeah.
jab is weak.
He didn't have a black eye when he came home. Now he's got two. Yeah, that is funny.
That
right?
would be a conversation if I had a son or a daughter that came home after a fight. I was like, all right. At first, we're like, never get into fights. Blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, how'd it go down? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
What was the
Yeah.
situation? Tell
Ready?
me.
It's like, well, Dad, I was trying to choke him. Show me. Come, let's go.
Recreate it. Let's do it. Get your brother in here.
I think the same thing. I'm just like, how would I react if something like this happened? Because there's a lot of things where our parents have said and done, where you're just like, do I agree with this? Does this make sense? As a child, you're like, why did I get beat for this? Why did I get a talk for this? And things like that. So I'm always thinking about that. I'm like, what happens if Hamza gets into a fight? First of all, am I going to lose it on someone else's parents? Secondly, am I going to lose it on him if he's in the wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to do? And I'm so nervous to handle these things. I'm so nervous when he gets into his first fight or when I have to deal with the first parents. Like, am I going to, like, how, like, quick I can flip a switch if it's, like, fast to do with my family. Like, I used to be really, really crazy like that. I'm a little bit more calm now, but...
Yeah. It's
when it
funny
comes
because
to-
the thing is that the way how I know Hamid is very different than I think you know him. I mean, you know all facets of him, but like, I mean, I know you rather well, but the thing is that like ever since I've met you, you've always been like, it's okay. And then you're very calm. The only time I saw like a little sliver of darkness was you were playing Mortal Kombat with this guy.
What do you mean a little sliver of darkness? Where were we?
It's the worst. I hate playing against this guy.
Yeah, we're at his house. We're at his house in his basement.
We were at Karan's house once.
Oh, okay.
And
I
this
see what you're
guy was playing with Scorpion, and he would just keep doing the same move, and I was losing, but I keep making fun of them, and he goes, Sayed, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face, and it made me laugh even harder. And
Maybe even matter.
but also like once you play sports with somebody, you've seen them control their temper. Like I've played so much basketball with Hamid that I know where people's limits are.
Yeah.
Once you've competed with them a bit.
Where's his limit? Is it like somewhere in the middle? Where you put his?
Once we were playing basketball, and this was like just east of Mavis at this open court, and it was me, Hamid, one of his high school buddies, Brohawk,
Yeah, Colin.
and like a couple of guys.
His name is Bro Hawk.
That's his I guess
his
street
handle.
name.
That's
or
his
handle,
handle,
Oh, shit. He's
And,
got street names.
We were just like playing some 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and some random Punjabi guys show up.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we got next. We'll play you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember that we were playing. It's pretty competitive. Like, it's getting heated. And, like, the smallest insult happened where, like, one of them said to, what was a Punjabi guy on our team?
Hamza. It was to my friend Hamza.
Yeah. And this guy, Hamza, I remember now. What the other team said to Hamza was like, hey, man, you need to wear some deodorant.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was an insult,
Yeah.
but not
It's
a
not too
like
bad.
not
It's
one
like-
that's gonna
yeah.
hurt.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, the solution is in the.
You will soon
the
come
diss.
to regret that.
The fight that ensued was like, I'm like, this is a legit fight. Like, And I think Hamza or Brohawk gave the guy, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to back off.
No,
And
it was all
Colin.
Colin.
Colin was like, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to back off, and he counted to 5, and he just started knocking people out with like just single punch knockouts, dude.
Yeah,
Just handing
he was
out
like,
naps.
he's like, yo, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to check your boy. And then he's like, he counts to 5, he just turns around, counts to 5, comes over, slaps one guy. He's like, now go talk to your boy. And then remember, there's like a really
There was a
fat
pudgy
guy.
guy,
He
yeah.
got slapped, and he goes to the corner. He's like, okay, let's go do this. He comes back. He's like, all right, yo, let's not fight. And then his boys were a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
They got in Colin's face, and then Colin single-handedly took all 3 of these guys
Yeah.
out with a little.
You
guy.
go to sleep.
Yeah.
You go to sleep.
He took all of them out. Sayed, you had a
I
bum ankle.
twisted my
Did you twist your
ankle playing basketball before this.
Yeah.
Like, I was just hopping around. My brother was there too. Omer was there. He was running around just like smiling a lot.
And there was this one guy on that team that didn't get into a fight, a little guy, and he was just standing beside me. And I was like, yo, should I just do it? Should I just punch him? Should I just punch him? Should I just punch him? And I was like, no, I'm not just going to punch him. Meanwhile, Colin's beating the crap out of these 3 guys. And remember the final punch where the guy, like, he punched the guy so hard, we saw his tooth
You
fly
could
out of his
see
mouth.
it visibly. Like
It
the
was,
sun
I was
caught
just
it.
like,
it
was crazy.
was anime. It would have like been cha-ching. Like you could see it was bright. I'm like,
we were following her saying, what the hell is that? It was so crazy.
yeah, that was the last like really good. That was a long time ago, like 10 years ago. But it was like, that was a good fight.
And then we all hopped in a van and we bounced because
bounced. We're
their
like,
boys were coming to
yeah,
see
what
what
if-
was happening.
right.
Also, you're fighting Punjabis.
Yeah, I think they were
Yeah.
Punjabi guys. Yeah.
In Brampton.
Yeah, those guys. Like,
know.
have you seen the video of those guys trying to break into a jewelry shop?
I like how you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I like how you go. You guys, have you seen those guys, the Punjabis breaking
Yeah.
into a jewelry shop?
Hold it.
You know what's funny? How is Punjabi?
I'm not Punjabi, but
So they break a
you're
window. They break a window. They start trying to jump into this jewelry
Yeah.
shop, and the owner is like, "1 second, we have something
Oh,
for this."
yeah.
Run out in the back, pick out swords.
Swords.
Yeah.
Not one
Swords.
that
sword.
was badass, man. I thought that was so cool.
Multiple swords.
Agrabah swords, like broadswords.
Like they were just like,
I would stop robbing you in a second.
hell
You pull
yeah!
out
I'm
a
like, I'm not
sword.
getting stabbed for this.
Nah, not with a sword. Not with a blunt sword.
100%.
Oh man, that
Lose
is
my
funny.
lunch. That was fun, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Crazy
fun.
fight.
That guy had knockout power. It was cool to see knockout power in just a dude, just like a
Hold on.
lanky dude.
I'm just a little foggy on it, so let's just recap for a second. So, who's the guy who says you should wear deodorant?
The guy on the other team.
So a Punjabi on the other team says it to
A Punjabi
one of
on
your,
our team.
on your
Yeah,
team.
that's-
right. That's Punjabi on Punjabi
That's-
crime.
That's the fuse
Well,
getting lit.
he was a Pakistani guy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like on our team, Hamza.
And
Oh, I
that guy it absorbs the insult, and then Colin, also known as Brohawk.
Nah,
Well, no, he doesn't absorb it. He gets in the face like, bro, you better check yourself because yo, you don't want to say this.
He just didn't throw the first punch.
And then everyone starts to like stop and everyone starts to come in and what's going on.
okay,
And
okay.
these guys get in each other's face.
Right.
And then Colin's like, yo, we don't want to fight you. That's the first thing he said. And then this guy gets in Colin's face. And then Colin's like, you kidding me again in my face? He's like, yo, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Like, yo, check your body.
that was
5
really
seconds.
cool. The 5-second thing was my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that might be my
He
favorite
just
thing as well.
turned around and just stood there for 5 seconds.
Like
We're looking at
literally
it.
going
Yeah.
one steamboat, two
Yeah, he's
steamboat,
counting
three
steamboat.
Yeah, and then he just turns around, doesn't warn them, walks over to the guy and just slaps him.
Yeah.
I asked him later, I was like, yo, why did you slap the guy? He's like, because a slap is so disrespectful and it would drive him crazy.
Yeah.
And it did drive him crazy. And then they got their butts kicked.
This guy's fighting on multiple levels, man. He's fighting physically. He's fighting mentally.
He's read the art of war, man. He's like, first you have to take their soul, Hamid. Then their tooth.
Yeah, this guy was, we were friends since high school. And I remember when I got into my first like big fight in high school, this guy was there to back me up for it.
Right. It'd be funny if that's what the same thing that he said over there as well. I'll give you 5 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
No, you know what he
You know
did?
my rule, Hamid.
The guy that wanted to fight me, he actually, when we were face to face, Colin walks out and he grabs
This
the
is in
guy.
high school?
In high school. He grabs the guy and he's like, yo, I've had your back ever since like we're in grade 9. You've been screwing up. You've been picking fights with random people and I've had your back. He's like, you mess with this guy. He doesn't mess with anybody. He's a cool guy. He knows everybody. Like he literally has no beef with anybody.
Right.
And you go and you mess with this guy. And he's like, I don't have your back anymore. Screw you. And he grabs him and this guy's like really like struggling.
Yeah.
Colin's like, yo, punch him in the face. I was like, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he had punched me in the face and he just ran off.
Right,
and that's how the fight started. I was just walking. This guy walked over and punched me for no reason.
You guys went to
Yeah. And then
Crazy ass school.
after that punch happened, everybody in the school found out somehow. And then everyone was like, yo, are you going to fight this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess. And then it became this huge thing that now everyone expects me to fight this guy.
Yeah.
So after school, we went to look for this guy.
Were you
And
hoping you don't find him? You're
I
like,
was kind
"Shit."
of, you know what? I was
I
really
was like,
nervous,
"Geez." Yeah.
but I was hoping that I wouldn't find him. But I was also kind of hoping to find him because he punched me for no reason, and now everybody knows. Now I'm kind of embarrassed too.
Right.
But everybody was, behind me because they didn't like this guy, because this guy would always start fights with random people, and he'd have his boys clean it up for him. So they're like, oh, there's this nice guy. They mess with this nice guy, so everyone's kind of behind me. So then we're looking for this
Unified
guy.
the school.
Yeah, we're looking for this
He's
guy.
like the mascot.
We finally find this guy, and then Colin comes out, and that whole thing happens where he
Right.
grabs him, he's like, punch him in the face. And I was like, no, I want to fight him. And this guy's like, no, my leg hurts. I don't want to fight today. Right?
No.
It's like,
My leg hurts.
so eventually the fight didn't end up happening.
Right.
I go and I start playing football with my boys. There's only 6 of us. Everybody else is left.
Yeah.
This guy walks up to me with another one of his friends, 2 of his friends. He's like, yo, let's fight. I think he was a little bit nervous because there's so many people around.
Right.
And everybody wanted him to lose so badly.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, okay, cool, let's do it. So we walked into this like little foresty area, and everybody kind of surrounded us. Wow.
many
And
people?
there were about 7 of my friends
Yeah.
and about 3 of his friends.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
If it
they
goes
were
up,
outnumbered
yeah.
if it goes down like that, but that wasn't the point of that. So we go face to face, and we're both standing there, and he's like, well, I'm not going to do anything. I got the last punch. So then I pushed him really hard.
Right.
And then I seem to remember, I was really nervous. I hadn't gotten into a fight in a long time. I remember he wound up to throw a punch, and I remember thinking how slow his punch was. It gave me enough time to actually think about it, duck, and, like return an uppercut, which I did. And then I gave him a hook, and he started bleeding. And that gave me a lot of confidence. And then since I'm low to the ground,
I see blood. I feel confident.
yeah, like just like getting that jump on him. And then I took him to the ground, and I gave him a few punches, but it was wet. And when I tried to really like mount him, my foot slipped, and then I slipped over, and then he got on top of me. He gave me a couple of shots. He had this kara.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he took that off, and
Oh, that's horrible.
He
That's
punched
like-
me in the face a couple of times,
Yeah.
scratched me on
I
the
hate
ear,
when they use
the
that as
neck.
brass knuckles, man. That's not legit.
And then I rolled over and I gave him a couple of elbows, and then after that, people just broke it up. But the word on the street was I kicked his butt.
There you go.
There you go.
That's all
So
that
it's
matters.
pretty cool.
That word on the street.
Yeah, but it was nerve wracking, man. Like I didn't want to get into that fight, but there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
Because everyone knew about it. And everyone was like, "Yo, this guy punched you in the face. Are you gonna go fight him or what? Or are you not gonna fight him?" I'm just like, "Well, I gotta fight him now."
Yeah.
Like you're coming at me like this, and if I say no, what's everyone gonna think?
Yeah, that's true. And that matters at that point.
At that
You care
point,
a
it
lot.
did
You're
matter.
like,
Depends if you see. The thing is that like I feel like your past of fights still kind of informed whether or not you can get into a fight.
It does,
Right.
But it's still very nerve wracking.
Right. No, 100%. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just because I'm thinking to myself, what is a high school version of me do in that situation? I don't fight. I'm not
like
going in the
it's-
forest. First of all, they didn't have seven dudes just to back me up randomly in a fight. It's not happening. Yeah.
No, it was pretty interesting.
I think it'd still be interesting. Like if any one of us or one of our friends gets in a fight, I bet it'd be a very similar feeling. You're like, oh shit, it's happening. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't feel
And you really have to make a decision. You're like, do I really want to fight this guy, or do I like Katize and run? Like,
Right.
what's the best option? And a lot of times you should
Yeah, I don't
probably
worry.
run.
I don't worry about my street cred right now.
Yeah, I don't like.
Like-
I don't worry about street cred.
All of
cred,
Heartland
but
will know.
I'm like, if I'm by myself, I'll run. But like, if I can't run with my wife and my kid or my
No, then you
friends,
have to fight.
or if like say it gets into a fight or Rafa
Right.
gets into a fight, if you get into a fight, I'm not just gonna be like, adios. I'll call you later to see what's
No,
up.
yeah.
I would like
I
that.
gotta.
If I can get in a fight with like one of my friends and 2 other guys, that would be fun.
Let's
like,
go.
If me and my brother could get in a fight with anybody, I would thoroughly enjoy that. As long as it's 2-on-2.
Yeah, as long
I
as it's
wouldn't
like
even.
5
I
on
would be
2.
smiling the whole time, even if we were losing.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe certain scenarios, but still, like,
I wouldn't. I would jump in, but I would just like my eyes would be watering as I'm fighting.
Why?
yeah.
I don't know. There's too much pressure.
What if
son.
you knew you were gonna get your butt kicked? Let's say
Yeah.
3 of us are just
Yeah.
are walking around, and then these
Right.
3 gigantic guys, one of them picks a fight, would say it.
Yeah.
Right. And there 3 of them are beating him up, and now you and I are just like, yo,
What do
we
we
know
do?
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But do we go and get our butts kicked with him, or do we call the police? What do we do?
Do we make
what
a
should we
video?
do? Do we make a video? Like, yeah.
I pull
what
out
would
my
you
phone.
do?
I pull out the phone, dial 911, right, and then let it run.
Yeah.
So just and then jump in.
Put on speaker.
Let it run.
I
Yeah,
can.
because
I
the
do
thing
the
is
same
that
thing.
because then they can locate the phone.
Yeah.
They can hear that the fight is happening.
Is that how it works?
Yeah,
They can
yell out
locate
an
the-
address like 123 there, Boulevard. Please hurry.
But yeah, no, I jump in, 100%.
As long
Yeah,
as
I'd be
you
like,
have to, like,
I'd
I
be
mean-
like, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, I go low, you go high. No,
Yeah.
you go low, I go high.
We both wake up a couple hours later.
Yeah,
like,
like,
what happened?
I thought you were gonna go low.
We went ground.
We did go low. Yeah, like I guess you'd have to. Like if it's
have
your
to.
boy, you can't. Like running away is not an
There's
option.
no choice. There's no choice.
Yeah.
The only thing.
Did you hear about Daniel Rosa? Like he had a guy break into his house.
Oh no way.
All right, he's not coming on the podcast. We can't have everybody with the story come on, but I'll tell the story. So I had
Everyone who has a fight, come on.
yeah, our friend Daniel.
This
lives-
recent?
Huh?
This recent?
This was like a year ago or a year and a half ago. So he had him and his wife went to bed. You know, it's late at night on like a weekend, and then he hears a noise. It just sounds like glass breaking.
Right.
And Tamina's like, you go, you know?
Yeah,
And he's
100%.
like, yeah, that's kind of what I have to do. Shit.
That makes sense.
So he goes over there and he can tell immediately at the end of the hallway there's a window, which is the back of their house.
Yeah.
And there's something in the window, like somebody in the window.
Right.
And I don't mean looking in the window. I mean somebody's stuck in the window. Like somebody's trying to come through.
Yeah.
And he gets there and it's a guy. And Daniel turns on the light and he's like, hey man. And he gets into like a fighting stance.
Right.
Who are you? And this guy's like, oh, is Michael home? And Daniel's like, no, who the heck are you? And he's like, I think Michael's behind me. This is Michael's place, right? And Daniel's like, no. And Daniel's like, oh, Michael's their, like, is their neighbor. Like,
Okay.
they have a shared thing.
Yeah.
But he's like, he doesn't know if this guy's talking about that guy or this is whatever. Michael's like, and he goes, I need you to get out of my window right now. And the guy is like, I'm already in almost. And Daniel's
That's-
just standing there. And Daniel starts yelling at the guy. And the guy, and Daniel goes, I'm going to hit you with this stick or something like that. And the guy explains, oh, Michael. And Daniel was, he was so sleepy that none of the things that the guy said registered. He's just standing there thinking. And the guy goes, hello. And then Michael's face came up and he's like, this is the wrong house, bro. And the guy goes, I'm sorry. And Daniel was
Wow.
like, for a good like 5 seconds, he was so excited because he would get to do his jujitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to mess with that guy. I
No.
wouldn't want to break into his house.
No, you don't want to. Anybody who's excited that you broke into their house,
Yeah.
you don't want to break into their house. But man, he was like, I really wanted to like jump on him, but I was like, maybe this is just a misunderstanding.
Well, he broke a window.
Yeah, he was trying to come in and he thought the window was unlocked because Michael's window is unlocked. They're both drunk, obviously.
But hey, he had every right at that moment.
Yeah.
Like
So it beat the part of his body that's inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least try a guillotine to so if you're like, oh,
something,
I know how to
pull
I
him
know
in
how
the
to-
house with a guillotine.
Yeah,
Like
but,
you know. But if a man's in your house and you're excited about this, go beat him up. Don't stand there. Like
What would you tell your kid as he grows?
about what?
Fighting.
Okay, so I want him to be like a good dude, but I want him to understand when it's right to fight. I want him to be able to defend himself. I don't want him to get bullied, none of that stuff.
Right.
So I want him to kind of understand that, which I think isn't very easy for a child to understand. If somebody hits you, you got to hit him back. If somebody wrongs you, you got to hit him back. So,
But don't keep hitting him.
but don't keep hitting him. Like, be a good-natured person. You know, only, use your fists if you have no choice. If nobody's around and these guys won't stop hitting you.
If no one's around.
You know, all right. If nobody's around to help
ball
you, if
your
there's
fist.
no
Yeah.
adult around, this kid won't stop bothering you, won't stop following you, won't stop hitting you. Then sure, fight him, but don't hit a kid because he took your toy.
Right.
You know,
Take his toy.
no.
I gotta get your toy back.
That's weird. Like you're gonna like I've never realized that, but you're gonna have to like somehow explain to him
Yeah.
levels of escalation and how like
Yassine and I were getting beat up by some kids at the masjid
I know.
last weekend. They were beating us.
I remember that.
Mad annoying.
First of all, where were the
so
parents?
So for the entire we were there for 4 hours. We can't tell who the fuck
Yeah,
is
I
that
was like,
kid's
who's
dad.
this kid's parent?
Couldn't
Kid
tell.
is the worst kid.
Couldn't tell.
Whose kid is this?
Worst
Yeah.
kid. Worst kid. Also, the thing is this, right? I don't engage.
Yeah.
I don't engage. I don't even acknowledge kids' existence.
Yeah.
In certain situations, right? When I'm in a wedding and whatnot, you can't make eye contact with kids because then kids will always come up and be like, "Take a picture of me. Take a picture of me." Can't do that. I got to stay
Yeah.
focused. So that's how I've for the better part of my entire photography career as a wedding photographer. That's how I dealt with kids. You ignore, and eventually they'll just leave you alone because they're not getting anything from you. That's my approach.
Yeah.
Now, Sayed's approach is to like run away from them, then chase them, and then run around,
hit
and
one
then
kid.
and then try to hold on one second, and then try to like reason to him. He's like, "Hey, I gotta work right now." So, and then he's trying everything. Like he went through a book and he's going through like, if this doesn't fit, if this fails, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. The entire time, I'm just like, if I can. Now I'm annoyed at him because like we're a duo here, and then now they're gonna think it's gonna be okay to like deal with me at the same time. Also, not to like to the detriment of these kids, they didn't even look at me once before they hit my butt.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything, and they just came over and started hitting him on his butt.
They didn't.
And I made a video.
I didn't know these kids were there. They're opening. Like their introduction to us was running up to me and just slapping my butt.
You don't have to engage with them; they'll come find you.
Yeah, that's the level of like crazy these two kids were. It was.
Damn.
So I was like, I'm gonna try to talk to them because it's not like you instigated that butt slap.
No, I did not.
So I was like, they're obviously ready to engage whether you're making eye contact.
True,
or not.
100%.
So
I had already lost as well.
And I tried to talk to them, and then one of them, I was like, I'm done talking with it because he's kicking me, and I just picked him up. And I knew what this one's mother was. I'm like, hey, this kid's problem. And I just dropped him. And then she yelled at him. But this other kid, we couldn't figure out. Nobody was claiming this kid.
Couldn't figure it out.
During speeches, he would turn the lights on and off.
He would play the guitar of Dawood Warnsby guitars. The Dawood Warnsby thing. He would like touch it.
There was a musical artist there, and he would touch his guitar and stuff. It was
Man.
it was hilarious. Or I'm like, somebody hit this kid, please. Please.
Some
At the
kids
very
are
least,
crazy, man.
just get some zip ties.
Yeah.
Zip ties
Well-
legs and hands together.
At one point, one kid climbed on top of a fridge and was just standing there,
Yep.
like just looking around. I'm
It
like,
was funny is because like he and I were just standing by a bookcase and we're just going through the program trying to figure out what it is, and then out of the corner of my eye I see a child that is one story above everything else. And I look up and I'm like, you see
I'm like, if he falls, it's not gonna go well. Somebody should. How'd he get up there?
see, and you know, to say his credit, he was concerned. I was just at this point, I'd be like, well, he's made his bed.
Yasin was like, jump.
Nice. That's two opposite spectrums here.
Hey man, boys are crazy.
Yeah, they can
I
get
just-
really crazy.
But I never understood. See, the thing is that my how I know kids is either my family, so my cousins and whatnot, or myself.
Yeah.
Right. Or what other people have told, like other uncles and adults have said about me. That's how I know what I used to be like when I was a kid. Never doing any of those things. You go at a mosque and you like, even if you try to run. Yeah, I wouldn't even have the guts to run. I wouldn't have the guts to run because my dad would be right there. He would see me. It'd be a
Put me in
problem.
my place. Yeah. I know.
100%. The margin of error in my family, especially in public, was infinitely small. Like you cannot, you do not step out
can't
of
get out of
bounds.
line.
You don't do nothing, right? Nothing. I
makes
remember
sense,
once
man.
I was sitting down listening to a khutbah, and I had a scarf, and you have the scarf that they have like these
Beads.
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
not
yeah.
beads.
Well,
They have like
That's
threads.
Yeah,
like
threads.
threads or whatnot. So I was just sitting there, and I was just divvying them up in segments
You jerk.
while I was listening.
Were you doing this silently?
Yeah, I was definitely doing it silently. Yeah, I got a talking to because of that. Lack of focus. You're supposed to listen. You can't be braiding your scarf.
braiding your scarf.
At the same place we're playing Masjid, and there's a kid just eating a bell pepper, just putting seeds everywhere. I'm like, whose parent
So
is
when
letting this kid eat this bell pepper here?
See, when I see those kids, I'm so confused because it's like, how is it that there's no
Because,
you don't
bro,
feel a threat?
Discipline, like raising and disciplining a kid is
You gotta
not.
talk in the mic, bro.
Oh, sorry. Raising and disciplining a kid is not that easy, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes kids are like, let him run around for a bit.
Right.
It's okay. Other parents will be like, no, he's not doing that because that's not right, even at home. So you said there's very little margin of error.
Yeah.
For a lot of other parents, the margin of error is a lot wider.
Yeah.
And so when they go to mosques and things like that, they do run a little bit. They do defy their parents a little bit just
Yeah.
because they can.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that stems from that a little bit. At my nikah, we had it at my parents' place. like after the mosque, everyone came back to our place, and there's this one kid. I remember my uncle's.
Oh yeah. Yasin and I know
Okay,
who you're talking
my uncle's friend's
This
son.
legend. This legend.
Now, I don't understand why his parents weren't engaging, but this kid was basically causing so much havoc. Like, there's one lady, she was just sitting on the folding chair. He walks up behind her. He's a big kid, man. He's 3 years old, but he's a big kid. Takes it from under her. She falls, and he runs away with it, and then he throws it at someone. Like, he's going around punching people.
Yeah.
Like, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I know.
You guys saw this kid.
Yeah.
And parents aren't doing anything.
You,
I'm just like,
you know who did something?
who? Gainat?
The man up above.
Oh.
Yasin and I are watching this kid. You want to tell him?
No, go ahead.
Nah, you tell him.
Somebody tell me. I want to
Tell
know.
We're downstairs in the basement.
Okay.
And he's playing on the banister area, to
All
come
right.
down the stairs.
This is not that kid. I know.
Oh,
I
it's
was there
not?
with you.
Oh,
I was
okay,
there with
never
you.
mind.
This is not the I am the devil kid, is it?
This no, not that kid, because that guy came down the stairs and
yeah.
right, like,
Yeah. He like hit himself he came down the stairs in a
No.
reckless manner.
believe it or not, that kid wasn't as bad as the one that I'm talking about. This
Wow.
kid was really big. He was really crazy. He did not listen to anyone. If you're like, yo, bro, don't do that, he will throw a tantrum. Like, he was very like,
Jeez.
everybody knew that he was there.
This kid's a problem.
He was a big problem. So, and he was doing things like that, and we couldn't stop him. And how do you?
Yeah.
Especially if the parents aren't engaging. So that kind of comes from, I was like, okay, if they were engaging with him, if they had some sort of fear, or if he had some sort of fear of his parents because they
They instilled
they
some
instill
fear
some
into
sort
him?
of fear at home when he does things wrong, then he wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's so crazy.
Some parents totally. Farah and I were at a party last weekend, and there was a kid, and he's like 3, and he picked up a broomstick, and his parents didn't say anything, and he's like just poking things on the wall.
How is that? Like, I don't understand how a parent can they're just standing there, they're talking, and be like, yeah, so like I got
I
my
was
seat.
laughing so hard, and at one point, Farah's like, "Sayed," like she was like, "Can you not laugh?" So, because like the kid is like hitting things. And you can tell the people whose house it is are like, hey.
Yeah, can you stop?
And like nobody's saying anything. And it's so funny.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. When you're at someone else's
Yeah.
house, you have to watch out for these things.
Right.
Kids are kids, but you have to, as an adult, control them. Shaz has been on this podcast many times,
Yeah.
right? His kids are angels. The way that they're respectful, they're kind, they're nice, they listen. They've done a really good job. But I see the work that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot
right?
of work. Yeah.
Like, Shaz is a great guy. He's my buddy. He's my boy. And he's a great father. But, it's his wife that really, like, drops the hammer.
Right.
And they're afraid of her, as they should be.
Yeah.
Because I find that if I try to be my son's friend, he's going to walk all over me, which I think he's he's
learning?
understanding now.
Like stretching those
Starting
boundaries.
to
Yeah.
leverage it a little
I'll
bit.
just be like, hey, Minabita, I missed you so much. He'll slap me across the face. And then I'm just like, yo, you can't do that, bro. You can't do that. And then he thinks my angry face is funny.
Yeah.
And he laughs in my face. I've already lost him. Right? But Shaz's wife,
Yeah.
if she looks at Dean, Shaz's youngest son, the wrong way, if she's just like, yo, Dean, he'll crap his pants.
Yeah.
Right? I don't
Yeah,
I don't know if I want that,
Bob
but
looked at you like, Hamid, you might shit
I've
yourself a
crapped
little.
my
You're
pants
like,
a few
oh,
times and
shit.
she looked at me like that. But that's the thing. Like, that's the difference. Like, you have to instill it. You don't want to. You want to be this. You want to, treat your kids with respect. You want to treat them with all this love. But they have to understand it, and they won't just understand with love. They just won't, because they have all these urges. Like, my son wants to randomly pick up the heaviest thing and struggle, but bring it to me. And he's like, take it. And I'm just like, why? I'm like, why are you bringing this to me? Right? For no reason. I'm just like, stop. Or he'll climb a box for no reason, right? Knowing it's unstable. And then he'll get up there and he's like, I'm just like, why? I told you not to, right? But he's just going to do it. Doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah. They're
'Cause-
testing the world, right? They're testing you. They're testing.
exactly. Or I'm like, yo, don't touch that outlet. And he's like, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, please don't. So, newfound respect for my parents, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they raised 4.
4 little devil children.
Yeah, man. So
And,
many boys.
Yeah. Well, 3 devil children, and then Kainat was all right.
Yeah, boys are
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, we like.
boys.
But
Crazy.
I know I have my hands full. But that's the kind of stuff that happens. And you have to find a way to engage them and be like, hey, don't do that. You're gonna fall. You're gonna hurt yourself. Hey, don't do that. That's rude.
And
Don't
somehow you
slap your
kind of
dad.
want them to get a little hurt, but not too much, so they can
Yeah.
connect the two. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you fall off the box. See, it hurts, but you don't want them to hurt too much.
Yeah.
So
like the other day he tried to give my dad a high five. He's like, ugh, and he missed my dad and he wiped out and he fell face first. Right? But that broke my heart, man. It broke my heart because he cried so hard for like maybe a minute.
Yeah.
And he was fine, but it broke my heart.
Yeah.
But at times I want him to fall and hurt himself,
Yeah.
so he stops doing dumb stuff like
Right.
that. Like,
Right.
don't climb
you
on
don't,
top.
You don't want him to stop doing high fives.
Yeah.
I need you to stop climbing on boxes.
But I
son.
want you to stop climbing on boxes and jumping off. I just want you to hurt yourself a little bit once, so you know.
Yeah.
Because I think kids are also kind of fearless, right?
And you don't want them to fully lose that either.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose that. So that's why in my house, I tell everyone, I was like, don't ever say there is a monster in the basement because he's gonna associate that with the darkness. And right now he doesn't understand that, so he's not afraid of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, when you're bored, when you just don't want to get up and your kid's running to the corner and wants to go to the basement, it's like, yo, there's a monster there, and they're like, what?
Right, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't want that to happen just yet. So I remember my mother-in-law was doing that, and she had a lot of guests over, and they started doing that. They're like, don't go there, there's a bow. And I felt rude, but I was just like, hey, excuse me, everyone. I was like, can you please not tell my son that there's a monster over there? I was like, just because he sleeps in the dark alone, he's okay with that.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't need to check underneath his bed in
Yeah.
his closet every day.
But as soon as you tell him there's a monster over there in that corner, he's going to associate that with the darkness. And now every time he gets up, he's going to cry like there's a monster there. And this fear, like he's going to have this fear. I remember having this fear myself.
Yeah.
Right? So right now his mind is so like, it doesn't go there yet.
Also, how odd was it for you to have to like take a pause break
Yeah, like,
at a
listen,
family
adults.
event and then tell your aunties and like your aunties to be like, hey, listen, this is the way how I'm teaching my kid. I need you to kind of
Well, I know that my wife has my back with that because she's like, he's your son. So if anybody's crossing the line, don't be like, oh, that's Faiza's family or whatever. Just go ahead and tell them. So I was respectful. I was like, hey, uncle, I was like, you know, I don't want you to say that, and here's why.
Yeah.
And because it's just going to be tougher for him, I just don't want that. And he's like, oh, I totally understand. I was like, okay, great.
Oh, that's a good uncle.
So yeah.
Sometimes you'll be like, how dare you tell
Yeah,
me?
and I'd be like, look, just don't do this to my son, okay?
Yeah.
That's just that. But it didn't get to that. But
Do you want to fight? Like,
yeah.
Exactly. Comes full circle.
No, but I try to be respectful. I just want to let them know, because part of being a father is like that's when you actually become an adult. I think. I remember when I got married, I was just living with Faiza. I had a roommate. I was still going out, still meeting you guys regularly, still hanging out, doing my thing.
My life.
Yeah, pretty much. I had responsibilities, but they weren't like there's somebody else depending on me. Now there's somebody else depending on you all the time. And you can't help but not think about that person. That person is not capable of thinking for themselves, so you have to do it. So you're always thinking ahead. You're like, does this person have milk? Does this person have warm, clothes? I got to get up at 6 a.m. Well, I have to do it. I can't sleep in and just say, screw it. I'll just tell my friend I don't have to make it. Right? But I can't do that to my son. So you just become an adult.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, hey, I'm never going to grow up. I feel like I'm still a child.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, until you actually have like a
You
child,
need a kid to like,
kind of, because you need someone else you have to be able to take care of another human being. And when you're doing that, you automatically just realize that you now think like an adult. You now think like a responsible person. There's a lot of people, you guys probably know, they're men, they're women. They the way that they talk, the way that they carry themselves, they weren't born like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they probably had so many experiences that brought them to that.
I like how you said you guys probably know them. Y'all not them though. You ain't no men.
we have ways to go, but I'm talking about the
seen
Shilas.
them.
I'm talking about
The grown-ups.
people, the grown-ups that have kids. I still consider us to be children.
Yeah,
You know,
we are.
I still
Yeah.
like the conversations we have, the things that we talk about. Look at the segment we started off with.
Well, you have a Ninja Turtle jersey on. I have
Bro,
a basketball
this is-
shirt on.
yeah.
And he's not wearing underwear.
Other people show up in suits and things like that. They're doctors.
Yeah.
The way that they think, the way that they carry themselves,
You're like,
that's
"Pardon
different.
me."
Yeah. So I think it takes something for you to become that.
Yeah.
And
Some
for-
experiences.
Yeah.
Like life gets you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I think my son did that for me. It could be different for others, but now I'm just on guard all the time. Even when we go out, even though I'm having fun, every 5 minutes, I got to go check up on my son if he's okay. Like, you can vouch for that. Like,
Yeah, it's
every
true.
10 minutes, I run up to go see if he's still sleeping. Just because. What if he's upstairs crying? I don't know. Right. So you start thinking about all these things and, you start gauging your time better. You start to plan things better.
And then you grow up one day.
And then you grow up one day.
I
So
have my shit together now.
yeah, so it's
I
a
like
neat
how you doing it.
experience.
Yeah.
I like how you're doing. You're doing it with a level of
Thank you.
what do we say? I mean, you're wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle T-shirt. That's all I did. You know, you're
wearing
a
this when he
serious
was
father.
born.
and- the one that he was born. You held
Yeah,
him.
I
You
held him.
in
Yeah.
that. The first.
It's a pretty big shirt, man.
Yeah, it's
You know,
huge.
it's pretty important, this shirt.
Also, it makes me feel good on the fact that like my first gift to him was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love that.
see.
I'm so sad that he grew out of that,
Yeah.
but that was one of my favorite onesies. It was just like a Ninja Turtle onesie.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I remember I was walking. I looked at it. and I was like, yeah, yeah. This needs to go there because I don't shop for kids.
Yeah.
Like my brain doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Not
no,
yet.
The thing is, before Hamza was born, I was like, I want to get him something like that. And when you got it, man, I was just so happy that
Yeah,
you got
man,
that.
I'm
I was
glad.
so happy. I was telling Faiza all the time. I was like, Yassine got this for me. Look.
It'd be that floaty uncle that's just around sometimes. He
That's
shows up.
creepy. That gets creepy.
Some
Can't be a
like,
floaty uncle.
Here's a couple gifts. Whatever. I'll take you to the aquarium. Have a look at some fish.
Then,
And then we out.
yeah, I got to take him to the aquarium. It's gonna be a lot of
Let's
fun.
go together.
Yeah. It's gonna
any
be a lot of
excuse,
fun.
to go. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
This is the first
It was a lot
time
of
we
fun.
got a conversation about kids and being a father, bro.
Yeah.
Are we growing as a podcast?
No,
guys
we
have been
had a
growing.
guy who's obsessed with being a father on.
Right. Also, the thing is what we actually brought you here was just your vast amount of experience and
Yeah.
fights.
The interesting thing was Yassine was like, well, how are we going to bring up, like maybe some parenting stuff? I'm like, that's Hamid's favorite thing right now. It'll just come up.
Yeah.
And like, it came like, at one point it came up and I was like, told you. I just quickly stuck in a told you and we just continued talking.
It's so easy for a new parent because that's their favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah, it's true.
Even when we have date night, that's all me and my wife talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm glad you're liking it.
No,
That's
alhamdulillah,
awesome.
it's pretty
like
awesome,
many
man.
things in life. I mean, just on a personal note, thank you. There's been a couple of times where I had to reach out to you. You helped me out through some rough times. So I look forward, inshallah, at some point, if I do have a kid, I'm going to give you a call and be like, this idiot. He's like, yes, I know.
He just brought me a carburetor. I'm proud of him, but he didn't have to.
You guys are gonna
man.
have so much fun, man. It's such a cool experience. I have
That's
so much fun
awesome.
with them. So
All right, people. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Check out our Instagram. We got some memes now. We're trying to step up our meme game. Meme game. So we got that. Like us on YouTube as well, even if you don't watch us on YouTube. Or if you didn't know, there's videos of us on YouTube.
It's true.
Oh.
So check that out.
Okay.
Subscribe. Just
That'd be weird, just pictures of us on YouTube. We're doing it all wrong.
right. So do all that, and we'll be back in a week. Take care of yourselves. Good night.